One Piece chapter 731. That is what I'm talking about. That is some good stuff. I haven't done a One Piece prediction in a long time, and any One Piece video in a while. And frankly, it's because I haven't really been enjoying it all that much. I haven't really felt like it's been going anywhere. I didn't really like Punk Hazard that much, and I didn't like most of Dressrosa. But the past two chapters is what I expect to see. This is stuff where I'm like, there we go. There we go. So, I mean, I have to take off my hat this week to One Piece. I have to clap to One Piece because this was some good shit. This is what I expect. Now, I want to go ahead and actually review this chapter this week or give a prediction on it. And let me just start off by saying I know my voice probably sounds a little bit weird in this chapter this week, and that's mainly due to the fact that I just got over a cold. So I just want to clear that up right there. I also want to throw a shout out to Ryu Itachi and say check out his channel. He does a number of different anime and manga reviews. Does Bleach and Naruto too, but he does like one shot reviews. He does After Effects videos which show him doing special effects for different animes. So if you like seeing like somebody what they're doing like Yusuke Spirit God or Naruto's Rasengan or something like that, you definitely want to check out his channel. He's a friend of mine and a good reviewer that I think can be a little bit underrated. So check out his channel if you enjoy it. Subscribe, comment on his content, show appreciation. Now I'm gonna link it down below, but let's jump into this chapter this week of One Piece. Now the beginning of it was dealing with Bellamy, and of course, Bellamy, he's finally at that realization, I guess, that Doflamingo does not care about him whatsoever. Now, I do like Doflamingo as a villain. I want to clear that up. I do like him. I just haven't really liked this arc this much. But I mean, he's coming to the realization is that, and of course, basically, Bartholomew is trying to basically smack some sense into him. He's basically saying that, hey, since we fought in the same tournament ring, we're friends. You can't just sit here and let yourself, basically kill over and die, which is basically what, at this point Bellamy wants, because I think he really kind of has it in his head that Doflamingo, doesn't really want him to really be a part of his family, be a true underling, and all that other stuff. He just uses them whenever he needs them. Uh, but from that point on, of course, we got a little scene with Robin and Usopp and Frankie back, of course, with the gnomes. And after they were basically coming up with a plan, which we already know they were coming up with a plan, but it seems like they're getting ready to interact that plan to go ahead and take out Doflamingo, finally. And of course, they talked about this particular girl that basically she's the one responsible for turning people into toys, and why people have lost their memories on this island, how they have to take her out. And right after that part of the chapter, we get to the sort of towards the end where, of course, Bartholomew being like Luffy's number one fanboy, was going crazy when Luffy walked in the room, of course, and he's telling Luffy all this different stuff. He's hoping that Luffy wants him, ask him to join the crew, in which we all know Luffy's probably never going to do that. If he does do it, it'd be pretty funny. But right after that, I know Luffy also, or no, I think it was Bellamy that stated that he's getting ready to leave, or he's about to basically find the way out, and Luffy's to his surprise is like, oh, you know how to get out of here, and he's like, he's like, thank you. And of course Bellamy is all resistant and ever really like acknowledging that because he still wants to believe that Doflamingo cares about him in some way. So I did actually feel bad for Bellamy in that sense. And Bellamy is a character that's been around since the I guess you said the beginning of One Piece. Well, not the beginning, but like since part one of One Piece. So I guess I care about Bellamy a lot more than just like a character who just randomly appears in the arc, like you may have sometimes with some characters. But right after that, of course, Bellamy kind of just like, well, I'm just going this way. If you want to get out, you can try to, follow me, but I'm not doing this for you. That sort of response. And then that's when, after Bartholomew goes on and explains, how, even if he would have won the tournament, he would have given the fruit to Luffy. Here's the part of the chapter that I love the most, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys love the most. That's when we have somebody say, yeah. Straw Hat Luffy, he's not getting that. I'm getting that. And to much of our surprise, of course, Luffy turns around. He sees who he is, and we can't see who it is, but we can all pretty much guess. It is strongly, strongly implied that Sabo is alive. Now, that was some exciting news. I mean, Sabo being alive is close to the lines of like how it felt for like finding out that Obito was alive, at least for me. So I felt like this was definitely probably one of the chapters that made the year out of the big three. Definitely, even though this arc has been a little bit shaky, I felt like this was an amazing chapter, and so was the previous chapter of One Piece too, with Big Mom making an appearance somewhat, or I should say, it's her crew making an appearance, and out of nowhere. And then on top of that, we had the whole thing with Law in the previous chapter getting caught by Doflamingo, and of course Luffy and them have to go after him now. But anyway, from that point on, basically with Sabo, well, I'm just gonna say it's Sabo, even though it hasn't been confirmed. We all know it's pretty much probably gonna be Sabo. After that, Luffy's in tears, and he pretty much accepted. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna let him have the mirror fruit. He can have that. He's like, we're gonna go ahead and just save Doflamingo. He was just so excited to find out, obviously, that his brother Sabo is alive. And that's when we also see, I think her name is Cola, and I remember, I don't know if you guys actually remember her, but I know she was in the flashback for the Grand Fisher flashback in Fishman Island, which I actually enjoyed that flashback quite a bit. So I'm kind of glad that she's alive as well. I mean, you could probably figure she was alive, but I'm glad that she's actually playing relevance, that she's actually part of the Revolutionary Army, and she even talks about Robin a little bit, like, oh, I know Robin must be here now, and it'd be nice to see her again. And you can even tell that Sabo is emotional too. She kind of notes that Sabo's emotional too after reuniting with Luffy, but he's basically trying to get the mirror for himself now, and that's the end of the chapter, of course. Now, let me just say, I mean, Sabo would be pretty cool probably to have the mirror. For we don't know what he actually can do, but I definitely do not mind him having it, because I mean, we all questioned who's going to get it. Some people thought maybe Rebecca was going to get it, which is always still that possibility up in the air. But I'm pretty sure most of us would rather have Sabo actually eat that fruit, or somebody who we actually know a lot more about, to actually take a hold of a power like that. So it's pretty exciting that he made an appearance in this arc. I'm also getting pretty hyped up, of course, about Law. Since he's captured, Luffy actually taking on Doflamingo, because it adds to a sense of danger. It shows New World is not a game, which I've been waiting for that. I mean, Film Z showed it to me. And finally, now they're starting, or Oda's starting to actually show that off a little bit. So let's see where it goes from here. But it's getting pretty exciting, and it's been a long time coming. Like, I mean, dude, I'm not trying to rig on One Piece, but I mean, I wasn't liking how it was for the past few months, probably half the year. I mean, I was getting a little about it, but I mean, now it's getting so excited. How could you not be hyped for it right now? How could you not think One Piece is a great series? Oda's finally picking it up. We have a young co. We have, basically several dangers going on right now, and a character that we all thought may have been dead has finally reemerged. A character that probably most of us enjoyed, Sabo. I'm definitely interested in seeing how he changed. I'm definitely interested in, if Luffy's going to ask him any questions, like how did he survive? I mean, we all can guess that, of course, Dragon did, but this could also segue maybe into Luffy meeting dragons sometime soon. There's all these different things, these questions and predictions you can actually come up with from this point. Which is why it's so exciting. At least for me, it is. Um, Now, for what I think is actually going to happen next chapter, oh man, let's see. I mean, we may get a little bit more of the whole Yonko thing, but then I think an Oda may try to stretch out a little bit more, because it is such a big thing right now. I kind of would like more of the focus on. We may pan over maybe back to Rebecca next week a little bit, and maybe I would say, since One Piece usually has a lot of content in the chapters, or at least a lot of dialogue. Um, I don't know. I mean, we may. That's probably going to take maybe a little bit of next week's chapter. I'm not sure if we're going to see Sabo for a little bit. I think this is something that Oda may take a little bit of time to before he actually shows us like his actual face. But we all know it's him. I mean, shoot, even Koala was wearing a hat that was similar to his back in the day. So from where they could go with this, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that the law, or not law, but the Luffy versus Doflamingo fight happens somewhat soon because it's definitely going to be pretty epic, especially how it is. But I'm thinking probably within the next 2 chapters or so, maybe we'll actually see uh, the like everything finally starts to unfold and go down, like fights and big things happening. Um, yeah, so I don't think we're going to stop on next week. I think Oda's gonna hold on to that a little bit, like seeing his actual face, because this is a pretty big, hint and revelation. Why not just show it in this week's chapter? Plus, with him getting emotional and all that, and them not actually showing that as the cliffhanger, and giving us a strong leads me to giving us a strong like basically reasons as to believe why it's him. Gives me a real reason to actually say that I don't see why they would even show him next week. Why not hold on to it a little bit longer? So that's where I'm going to go with it. Next week, Doflamingo probably won't see him fight. Probably see some Rebecca stuff, which, I mean, I'm hoping not. I mean, I hope it'll be a little bit something different, but I just where I actually see it going for at least the next week. Something revolving around her and possibly maybe segueing maybe into maybe approaching you know, Doflamingo's lair, palace, whatever you want to refer to it as. But those are my thoughts on this week's One Piece chapter. Let me know what you guys think about it, what you think is going to happen. I cannot guarantee you that I'm going to do this every single week. If I give this chapter a rating this week, oh man, I guess it has to get the rating because it's technically is sort of a legendary chapter of One Piece. So this gets to the King of the Pirates rating right here. I mean, that's the highest rating I can give a chapter when it comes down to One Piece. I don't know if everybody remembers the One Piece scale that I started to come up with when I did review it, but this does get a King of the Pirates level rating. Everything to me, this chapter was paced out pretty nicely. Most of the information that happened in it was relevant, and the cliffhanger was, or semi cliffhanger was pretty nice. Because the reason I say semi cliffhanger is because we all pretty much know who it actually is. So, this are my thoughts on this week's One Piece chapter. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to go ahead and check out Ryutachi's channel. And that's pretty much it. See you guys later.